Right, so here we're going to talk about the Roman system, and we're going to compare it to our number system. Our number system is called the American system. I'm totally joking around. I'm just joking around. It's not. It's called the Hindu Arabic. Remember, the United States is kind of the new kids on the block. We've only been around for under 300 years. So our number system was not devised in America. It's from ancient days. It's from Hindu Arabic origins. So our number system, like the way we write numbers, is called the Hindu Arabic. So whenever they say, and you'll see it in the homework, they'll say, convert from Hindu Arabic to Roman, you think normal, right? Our normal system is Hindu Arabic. Now, the Roman system, I think you probably know a little bit about the Roman system, right? How do we do, well, what is an I in the Roman numeral system?
A 1.
That's a 1, exactly. What's a V?
5.
5. What's an X?
10.
All right. Next, and now notice they go 1, 5, 10. So next is going to be the 50s. Anybody know the 50 already?
L.
Yeah, good job. The L. You do not have to memorize these. You get a full sheet of notes on the exam. Yeah, next comes 100. What's 100?
C.
C. Yeah, that one is easy for me because I always think of centuries. 100 years, or a cent is 1/100th of a dollar. Yeah, and next comes 500. What's 500?
D.
D. And finally 1,000.
M.
That's the answer. Like mega, like a megabyte on a computer is 1,000. It's actually 1,024 because it's base 2, which that's a whole nother story. In fact, we'll get into that story in about a week. We'll be talking about base 2 numbers, and which is how computers work. But anyway, not for now. So there it is. There's the Roman numeral system. Again, you do not have to memorize these. You get on the exam, on every exam, you get a full page of notes, both sides. You can put whatever notes you want, front and back of a full page. There's no purpose in memorizing these. In fact, let me pause and stop for a second. Why in the world are we even studying this? If I was you, sitting in your seats at home right now, I would be thinking, this is wacko. Why in the world are we studying Roman numerals? Are you kidding me? I'm going to teach younger folks mathematics. I'm probably not going to teach them Roman numerals. I agree. You might, but probably not. So why in the world are we studying Roman numerals? It's a great question. And the answer is because that will help you better understand our system. A lot of times, you probably heard of the old saying, a lot of times, I don't know how to say it all catchy like, but the idea of the old saying is a lot of times you can learn about something you're familiar with by comparing it to something different. And by contrast, you learn a lot about that thing you're familiar with. You learn about it more deeply by contrast. That's exactly what we're trying to do. By comparing to Roman system today, Monday, we're going to go to the Mayan system, which I imagine you have no familiarity with the Mayan system. And then after that, we're going to go to other base systems. We're going to look at a bunch of other ways number systems have been used and created and worked in order to learn about our own number system more deeply. See, the problem is you're so familiar with our number system that you can't even really think anymore about how it actually functions. It's just native sense for you now. And yet you're gonna need to teach it to younger folks for whom it's not native sense. They need to understand why it does what it does. And so we're going to try to help you think about that by comparing to other systems that do things differently. Okay, so the Roman system is, let me add a little page here, come back here. So the Roman system is an additive system. It's an additive, and it also does some subtraction, which I'll get to in a minute, but let's do one thing at a time. First off, it's an additive system. Wait, it's not, my little things, there we go. It's an additive system. What do I mean by that? I think you know, right? If I go V1, what is that number, guys? You know what that number is, right?
6.
It's 6, right? Because the 5 and the 1 make 6. Right, that you know. And what if I go V11? What's that number now?
7.
7, because again, it's just 5 and 1, 1. They might think, well, that's the same as our system. No, it's not at all, right? Think about it for a minute. 5, 1, and what if I go 5, 1, 1? Is that 7 now?
No.
No, not only is that not 7, and this is not 6, that's not the only, that I assume you're aware of. But have you ever stopped to think about the fact that this V is 5 in the Roman system, no matter where it sits? It's always 5. But what does this 5 mean in our system when it's sitting right there? It means 500, doesn't it? What does the 5 mean when in the first number? 50. Notice the 5 changes its value depending on the place in which it sits. What if I go 5, 1, 1, 1? What is that 5 representing now?
5,000.
5,000. Yeah. What's up with that? That's because our system is a place value system. You know it so well that you're like, well, of course. Well, do you realize that's going to be very confusing for younger folks when you first show them that, when they have no experience no experience with that? That's kind of strange. It's going to be kind of strange for them at first to experience that and understand that. Our system is a place value system, meaning that numbers have different values depending on their place. If a 5 is in the second place, it's 50. If it's in the third place, it's 500. If it's in the fourth place, it's 5,000. The value of a symbol depends on its place. Not so in the Roman system, right? The V is just 5, always. It doesn't matter what place it's in. The V is always 5. Theirs is not a place value system. Do you see the difference? So that helps you think more clearly about the fact that our system is place value and what that really means, and how that's going to be confusing for younger folks at first. They're going to be like, why is it 50 here and now it's 500 and now it's 5,000? It's the same number. Well, the place matters, doesn't it? Because we have a place value system. Not every number system is that way. The Roman system was not that way. The Roman system was not a place value system. All right, good with that. So with that in mind, we're going to use that. You don't have to memorize it. Just write those symbols on your notes. Let's go do some homework problems. So let's go do homework problem number 1. And I hope you have your window open and you can do number 1 also. So coming in here I have question number 1. And it says 387. So it wants me to take the number 387, and it wants me to change it to a Roman numeral. Let's take it piece by piece. First off, the 300. How am I going to make 300? Let's go back down here. What symbols am I going to use to make the number 300?
C.
Yeah, a bunch of these C's, right? Because each of those are 100. So 3 of those, C, 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 right? 100, 100, 100. It's just an additive system. It's just going to add them up. 100, 100, 100. That'll be 300. So that's exactly right. So we go C, C, C. So that's for the 300. Next,
V.
the 80. Let me roll down and think about how am I going to do the 80. Now 80, we're going to have to, could I just do 8 of these X's?
No.
What's a better way?
L.
Yeah, use the L. That'll get you 50, and then just use 3 with 1 L and then 3 of those X's, right? That's going to be a more efficient way to make 80. That's what they want us to do. And so let's do that. So I come in here and I say, okay, 80 is going to be the L, which is 50, and then X, 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 10, 10, 10. And this all together will make our 80. So there's our 80. And that's what they mean when they say here, least amount of symbols. In other words, you don't want to do 8 X's. That would be a longer way. Let's make it with the least amount of symbols. So 50 and L and XXX, that's 8. So we have 380. Last number, the 7. How do we make 7? I think you know it's the V11. There's our 7. So there's the number 387 in the Roman system. CCC, LXXX, V11. It's a longer system. It's not as good a system, clearly. So there we go, 387. Questions I can answer on that. Is that all making sense there? Number 2? Okay, so number 2 now. Now, there's this, the Roman system is not only an additive system, but I bet a lot of you know it's also a subtraction system, isn't it? So let me come down here and show you about that. The Roman subtraction. So how does, oh, you're not seeing that, huh? Let me refresh my screen. There we go. So the Roman subtraction system. Basically, you make all 4s and 9s by subtraction. So any 4 or 9 is made by subtraction. So let me give you an example. So what if we wanted to make 1,980, well, here, let's do 48. 1,948.
M.
That number. So again, every 4 and every 9 will be made by subtraction. All other numbers are by adding. So you only make 4s and 9s by subtraction. You make all other numbers by adding. That's how the system works. So here we go. So 1,000, that's just our, right? That's our 1,000 there. So now the 9, that's going to be made by subtraction. Now it's not just 9, it's 900, isn't it? So how do I make 900 by subtraction? I bet you know. If I go, what am I going to do? Looking at those symbols, how am I going to make 900 by subtracting something from something?
CN.
Yeah, 100 taken away from 1,000, right? If you take 100, right, 1,000 minus 100 is 900, isn't it? Right, everybody good with that? So if I go CM, then that's 100 before 1,000. That means subtraction. Whenever you put the smaller number to the left of a bigger number, or symbol, I should say, a smaller symbol to the left of a bigger symbol, that means subtraction. So that'll be 900. So let's do it. Let's go back and do exactly that. So, okay, so I am going to do that. Let's make it. So this is going to be, let me change my color here. This is going to be CM because that's 100 to the left of 1,000. So there it is. There is the number 900. So subtraction. So what you do is you put smaller value symbol left of larger, of the larger symbol. So that's how you do subtraction, is you put the smaller value symbol to the left of the larger, because normally it's just bigger symbols go on down to smaller. But if they reverse that, smaller before bigger, that means subtraction. So there's 900. Let's try to make 40. So how am I going to make the number 40? Let's go back to the symbols. What could I do to make 40?
XL.
Yeah, XL, right? XL, because that's 50, right? This is 10, this is 50. So 50 minus 10 equals 40, doesn't it? That's the subtraction we're talking about right there. You put the smaller symbol to the left of the bigger symbol. And that means subtraction. That's how you know it's subtraction instead of adding. You know, if you're wondering, well, how do you know when you're supposed to add, when you're supposed to subtract? If the smaller symbol, if it's out of order, if the smaller symbol is coming before the bigger, that means subtraction. That's how you know. The normal order is bigger on down to smaller. You know, like this right here. That's bigger on down to smaller. That's the normal way. That just means add them up. But if you reverse that, it's subtraction. So let's come back in here and let's do that. Let's make 40. So the L is 50, so it's going to be XL, because that's, whoops, that's not correct. It's 10 in front of 50. So there's our 40. And then last, we've got the 8. Now 8, are we going to make 8 by adding or subtracting?
Adding.
Yeah, he's just an adding, right? Only 4s and 9s are made out of subtraction. So he's just going to be V111, right? There's our 8. V111, that's just 5, 111. That's my 8. We got it. There's the number 1,948. That's a lot of symbols, isn't it? You can see the Roman system is not the most efficient system in the world. Ours is far superior, the Hindu-Arabic system. All right, good. Questions on that? We good with that? How about we go up and we try? So this is number 2. So I basically just covered number 2. You're going to need this to do number 2. See how on my number 2, your number 2 will be the same deal. It'll be a different number, but it'll have 4s and 9s in it. That's the point of number 2. 1,479 is my number 2 example. You'll have something similar. And so I hope you're doing your homework while I'm doing my homework. You've got the window open and you're cranking through your homework at the same time. Okay, so 1,000 M. 400, how do I make 400? Come back down to these symbols. Again, 400 is made out of 500 minus 100, right? So it's CD, 100 in front of 500. So CD will be our 400. So let me do that. So CD, that's 100 in front of 500. That's my 400 there. 70. Am I going to make the 70 by adding or subtracting?
Adding.
That's just an adding number, right? Only the 4 and the 9 so are subtraction. So the 7 is just V1. No, I'm sorry, I just messed up. I'm thinking about, I'm doing Hindu-Arabic thinking. Our system. No, set 7D. It's not a 7, huh? I just messed up because I was thinking 7. It's 7D. So 7D is 50 and 2 10s, right? It's going to be LXX. That's 7D, isn't it? So let's do it. So 7D is LXX. That's 70. And then finally, last one is a 9. How are we going to do 9? 9's by subtraction. 1x, right? There's my 9, there's my 70. There's our answer. MCD LXX IX. And you can do uppercase or lowercase. It's not case sensitive. It'll take it either way. There's the right answer. You're going to have a different question on yours. Questions I can answer. So now we want to go the other way. Well, yeah, here, sorry, I'm jumping all over the place here. Coming up to number 3. So if I erase what we get this out of the way here, notice they're giving me on number 3 a Roman numeral, aren't they? So let me write it out here. I'm writing a little bigger for you. DCC XXX VI. Okay, so they're starting with the Roman numeral. Whoop, you can't see that, can you? Let me refresh the screen. There we go. All right, so they're starting with a Roman numeral on my number 3, your number 3, same thing, you'll just have a different one. And they want us to make it Hindu-Arabic, meaning normal. So, okay, so again, you don't have to memorize the symbols. You'll have them on your notes on the exam. Let me jump down here. D, what's D? D is 500, as you see down here. So let me go back up and put that in. So D is, in fact, yeah, that's what I would do for, let me just do that. Let me back that up again. I would just write all the values of the symbols. This is 500, the C is 100, the X's are 10, the V is 5, and this is 1. Yeah, just write all the values and then figure out the number. So what's this number? This is, these three make 700. Okay. And 10, 10, 10, that makes 30. And these guys make 6. So this is the number 736. We good there? Question?
Yeah.
So we got about 6 minutes left. I don't want to shortchange you, so I want to move on quickly to number 4, which is going to be a little harder because you might have, you probably do in your mind, a good question, and that is, well, Mr. Aaron, how are we going to recognize when they're doing the subtraction thing? That's a great question. The answer is when they put the symbols out of order. That's when you know it's subtraction. Let me show you here on question 4. So they have M, 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 and then C, M, and then, in fact, actually, you know what? Let me, well, we're good. I'll just keep moving. CM, X, X, 1, X. I meant to space these out is what I was, yeah, let me space these out a little bit more. So it's M, 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 C, M, X, X, 1, X. Okay, so let's put the values of the numbers. This is 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. The C is 100. The M is again 1,000. The X's are 10. This is 1. There we go. So first off, write the values of the symbols above them. And now tell me, guys, do you see anything that's out of order? Out of order, what I mean by that is normally it's supposed to go from the highest value symbol and go lower, 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 right? It's supposed to go from high down to low symbols. And whenever it does, that's the adding system. High to low means adding. Let me write that. High to low means adding. But if they put a low before a high, that means subtraction, doesn't it? So do you see any time in this number where they have a lower number before a higher number?
Yeah, for the C and then the M afterwards.
Yeah, right there, huh? That's a lower number in front of a lower value symbol in front of a bigger value system. And then right here also, huh? They have 100 in front of 1,000 and they have a 1 in front of a 10. That signals you go, oh, that's subtraction. And that's subtraction. This other one, this must be adding and this must be adding, right? And so what do we got then? This is 3,000. This is 900 because it's subtraction, 1,000 minus 100. This is 20 and this is 9. So the answer is 3,929. That's the number. So do you see how we determine that?